Hi, I'm iLia Anossov, founder and head instructor of the Fresco School. Thank you for using our video workshops. The video you're about to see, Fresco Plaster, is the first video of Buon Fresco Foundations video set. In this video, we will explore and learn how to correctly prepare calcium lime plaster for Buon Fresco painting. The entire process is filmed in real time for you to see everything from start to finish without omissions. And now, let's get started. These are the tools needed to prepare and apply fresco plaster. A sifting screen, 16 of an inch gauge, regular window screen from hardware store or building supply materials store. A gauger trowel, a common tool. You can get them in any hardware store, building materials store, anywhere the trowels are sold. You'll be using it a lot. Pudging dowel. It's a common wooden dowel. You can get it in any lumber yard, building supply store. It's 1.5 inches in diameter. Wetting brush, about 3 inches wide or 4 inches wide bristle brush. A pail, any ceramic container will do, and distilled water from any store. Fresco float. You need to make it yourself using clear pine from any lumber yard. The trowels, 3x8 steel trowel, also called midget trowel, and 4x10 stainless steel trowel. There are common tools, hardware store, building supply store, masonry yards. Fresco brush and tracing paper. Round brush you can use long filbert and a regular tracing paper from art store, the lightest weight. Goat hair brushes, 2 sizes, small about 1.25 inches and large about 4 inches wide, made of goat hair. You can buy them in art supply store. Mixing and storing containers. A regular 5-gallon bucket, 1 quart pail, and a mixing bath. Hardware store, building supply materials store. Washed river sand, building supply stores, masonry yards. Lime putty, online at Fresco shop, uncommon. Regular ceramic tile shops, building supply store, hardware stores, very common. This is slaked white marble lime putty aged for 3 years. This is the ideal material for fresco painting. It's high calcium lime putty, and you see the consistency of about cream cheese. To compare, we have limestone lime putty on the left and marble lime putty on the right. The one on the left, made of limestone, it's yellow in color and it's a little bit denser and more difficult to work with. It's not as plastic. So this way I didn't quite use it, and it was stored for about 10 years as it is, covered with water. which became a high, very concentrated solution of calcium hydroxide. Being undisturbed for so many years allowed for a formation of natural calcite crystal inside the top water, which quite nicely illustrates the fact that fresco painting is like painting with molten marble. Take a look. And back to the consistency, you can see once again it looks like a cream cheese, really nice and soft marble lime putty. The best sand for fresco painting is river sand, and you need it washed. You need to wash to get rid of all the dirt and maybe organic particles, but the reason for it being the best sand is because it's a new sand, so it's rougher and coarser than any other sand because it's been just broken in. Also, since it's a freshwater sand, it's been washed from salts by the water of the rivers. And that's what you want to make sure, that you don't have any salts in your sand, because that will destroy your plaster. You can get it in masonry places, building supply stores. Sometimes they can come in plastic bags, sometimes in big sacks, like I get them in masonry yard, and big unlabeled sacks from the quarry. You need to wash it. It comes washed, but if it is not, and there's always a good precaution, wash it beforehand. Washing is quite easy. You just get it up, put it in a container bucket like this, fill it up with sand, and break up the clumps, the big ones that are there. See, this is already dry sand, but most of the time it comes wet because it's stored outside, things like that. That was a long time in the studio, so it's dry. Other than that, it's just the same sand as you would buy. So you cover it with water and stir it in. Obviously you can put more than that, but put enough so you can actually stir it in. Don't put crazy too much. So I can wiggle it around. So what you're doing is you're loosening up all the dust particles and all the dry organic parts that will float up to the top. So once you've done, you can pour the water out and go to drying. So the sand itself will fall down, and what's on the surface, that's what you don't want to have on your plaster. Okay, once the water is out, you would want to dry it, which is also an easy procedure. I have a piece of canvas, like a sealed canvas. You can use a piece of plastic or anything, and you put it out somewhere outdoor, outside of the wind. I'll bring up this bag again, and see, when you open it up, you can see that the sand in there is wet. That's what usually will come. So you may not need to wash it if it's washed already, but you certainly will need to dry it. So this is the way you dry it. You just spread it on a piece of canvas or a piece of plastic, and wait for it to dry. Make sure that animals and cats don't get to it. Otherwise, you'll have to wash it again. Other than that, you can keep it anywhere. Outside is good because the wind will blow on, but also make sure so it's not really a dusty place where you're drying it. If you keep it in a studio somewhere, and you have plenty of time to do the drying, then it will dry by itself in a few days. But outside in the hot sun, it dries literally in minutes. You just make, spread it out thin. Once you're done washing sand and drying, you are ready to sift it. For sifting, you would need a regular window screen, which is about 16 of an inch gauge, and comes in a roll and looks approximately like that. You can see about 16 of an inch. That would get just the right kind of sand. I put it on a frame, and you can get it in the hardware store in the same place where you get the sand. Why are you sifting it? Well, you can't really use the coarse sand as it comes from the bag, but you do need, all variety of sizes. For base applications and base coats, you would need, the coarsest possible, and the preceding coats will be finer and finer grades of sand, and the painting coat itself will be the finest sand that you have, the ones that you sift. Sometimes you can even double sift it for the finer grade. But at the beginning, and for this particular video, we will be using just one sifted sand, and this is the most used plaster for the Intonaco painting. So, sifting is very straightforward procedure. You put the sand on the screen, break up the clumps, the dried out clumps if you have any, and then sift. Don't really try to push sand through, because the big ones will go through. You want to let only the ones that flow through the holes naturally to get through. So this way you're not going to get too big of the stones in there. And once again, you need a river sand, and you need a coarse sand with the angular parts, and not the consistent, fine, refined sand, because you need actually every size, from very, very small to the largest that you can get. The largest would be the largest that can get through that hole, but all the small ones will make the plaster denser. So if you can imagine, 16 of an inch sand particle, and then 32nd of an inch sand particle. So they'll kind of go right in between, creating a really nice and tight plaster, as opposed to, let's say, if you had only one size of the sand. Basically, you don't have to worry about the smaller particles. You want to make sure that the larger ones don't get through your sifting screen. And the resulted sand will be really fine, top 16 of an inch and under stones, and you can see how nice and fine it is. You don't need anything finer than that, not at the beginning stage of the painting, and probably not ever. So here's 3 sands. If you remember, the middle part is as it comes from the bag, like where it's all mixed in. The one on the right, on your right, would be this one. That's good for the scratch coat, for the rough stucco. And this is the fine one for the both final coats, Arriccio and Intonaco. Actually, those are really the coats that a fresco painter would be directly involved in. Usually the wall is already has all the preceding coats, and when the artist comes in, he and his plaster apply only the later 2, which is Intonaco fine painting coat, and a base coat underneath, which is called Arriccio, or float coat in English. So those 2 coats. We would focus on the fine sand that is great for both Arriccio flow coat and Intonaco.